Hello everyone. I'd like to spend a little bit of time today introducing you to a few apps that I've been making. All of these apps so far are dedicated to the homeschooling and unschooling communities living in Western Australia, and my aim is to be giving everything away for free. Everything that we make, we want to just give it away for free. I'll explain a little bit more as we go. So for now, this is our website, Sacred Sovereign Developments, located at sacredsovereign.org. And our first app that I've made, these apps for now are going to be hosted on the internet. They're not yet. In fact, most of them probably won't be suitable to go over to mobile anyway, because they're a bit technical and they produce, massive amounts of written content for you to kind of copy and save as Word documents on your computer. So I do have plans to make apps that are suitable for the phone. And anyway, we'll get into that as we go. So our website, sacredsovereign.org, feel free to head on over to it. If you're interested to learn a little bit about me and my family, you can check out the homepage, check out the About page if you want to. Even services, this is stuff that we're doing that's outside of the app development. But for now, if you're interested in the apps and what they're all about, our first app, I've got 4 in development at the moment, including this one. This one is basically ready to go. WA Homeschool Helper is a interest-led curriculum planner. It's a comprehensive tool to support home educators to design term plans tailored towards alignment with the WA curriculum. So that's the Western Australian curriculum. That's supposed to say core learning areas. It's designed with a child interest in mind. So you can just click this down here, open Homeschool Helper, or you can come up to the Tools tab here and just click this one. It'll take a second to load up. But here we go. So this is our app. There's some information down at the bottom here in terms of offering feedback and suggestions. Please do that if you test this thing out. I've done a fair amount of testing on this myself, and I have done my absolute best to make sure this app should not generate any kind of content that is not relevant to children. In other words, absolutely everything that comes out of this should be clean, proper, nothing extreme, nothing X-rated, that sort of thing. Feel free to test it out if you want to. It's using an AI system. It's a generative AI known as Gemini, which is made by Google, and it's really, really good at not producing anything that it shouldn't produce. So before we get into demonstrating this, there is one thing I need to kind of get a little bit into, and that's these apps aren't very expensive to make. I've had to pay a little bit of money for some software. I have a monthly fee that I have to pay, and it's really quite affordable in terms of making the apps for myself to use. Now, the very second that you take these apps, because they're cutting edge technology and they're using this brand newly emerging AI technology, the people who make them have made them very, very expensive to run. So once I hand this over to you, every time somebody comes here and uses this app, it's going to cost me a little bit of money. And if 1 or 2 people use it, it's completely manageable. But if a large number of people are coming here every day or every few days and using this, it's going to cost me an extreme amount of money. And I'm simply not able to afford to run that, unfortunately. So I've sat with this for a few days, although it is my absolute 100% intention to give all of this stuff away for free, to give it to you for free. I've had to come up with a way that you can potentially offer to support these apps and support the development progress. If you're interested in that, you can head over here, click on support. There's also a little bit of a link down here, but if you want more information, just come over to the support tab, check that out, and you can decide whether or not this is something that you want to support, be involved with, get connected to. And I would suggest potentially, if you feel like you're going to use this app a lot, please definitely do consider that, because at the end of the day, if I can't afford to keep these apps up, I will have to take them down, and I will potentially have to come up with a different way of funding them in order to be able to give them to everyone. All right, so I think that's enough said. All right, so what do you do with Homeschool Helper? Actually, it tells you everything here, but I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. Essentially, your simple supportive tool for creating engaging curriculum-aligned plans at home. All right, so you're going to come over here, you're going to select the year of your child. For now, it runs from year 1 to year 10. I figured leave year 11 and 12 off. It's a little bit kind of risky, maybe. You need a little bit more attention, I think, and depth for that. I'll potentially look at that in the future. So now let's just say, okay, my son, he's in year 2, and I would select the term. We're going into term 2 now, actually in a few days, and my son likes martial arts, he likes Minecraft, and he likes spaghetti bolognese. That is his favorite food. You can literally put anything, absolutely anything in here, any kind of interest that your child has, even things that you might want your child to be interested in. You can potentially incorporate those things into a curriculum for your homeschooling. You can put one thing. I've only tested it up to 5. It seems to handle pretty much anything you can throw at it. So then you would click generate plan here. Hopefully this all goes to plan. It'll take probably somewhere in the region of about 10 seconds to create this curriculum, as you will see in a second. All right, I'd say that was probably about 10 seconds. So as you can see, English, maths, science, humanities and social sciences, otherwise known as HAS, the arts, technologies and physical education. You have a little scroll bar down here. You also have an extension activity at the bottom, which we'll get into in just a second. So if you click here, you can see, by the way, this formatting is terrible. The formatting for this system, for some reason, is all over the place, but there's a saving grace about it, which we'll get to in a second when you click the copy to clipboard button, which I'll show you in just a moment. So for English, we have an activity prompt. Let's create your own martial arts story inspired by your favorite Minecraft characters. Character creation. Think of your favorite Minecraft character. Now give them a special martial art power. What is it and how does it help them? Story time. Write a short story about your character using their martial arts power to solve a problem or help someone in the Minecraft world. Act it out. After writing the story, act it out. Use your body to show the martial arts moves your character uses. You can even create sound effects. All right, so that's given us the activity prompt. These here are WA curriculum codes. These should be linked. I've done a lot of work to make sure that these are proper codes. They're probably not all of the codes that would apply because this list would be, massive. But this is one area that this app does struggle with occasionally. I've found it to be probably about 95 or 98% accurate. Please do, if you feel like you need to use these codes, please do check them for yourself. And there are potentially more codes that you could use as well. The expected outcome listed here, students will be able to create a narrative with a clear beginning, middle and end, incorporating descriptive language and action verbs to convey a character's actions and abilities. So some of this you may need to, study yourself and explain to your children. In fact, you would have to explain this to your kids. There's one here for maths. Let's make a delicious spaghetti bolognese using what we know about measurement, measuring ingredients. Okay, so it's going over the maths elements here with more codes and outcomes. You have one for each of the core learning areas, each of the subjects. And at the bottom you have here, so this one is also, let's explore how spaghetti bolognese can be part of a healthy meal. All right, so we've got health and physical education, identify the different food groups. It goes into everything. Only one person really I've spoken to about this so far. She was a teacher. She called herself an old school teacher, and she said this is really fantastic for homeschoolers. It's not so good for unschoolers because it's maybe a little bit technical. And she said there's so much information in here. This is actually more than a term, more than you would need to do for a whole term. So you can kind of take your pick as to what you want to use. I am always refining these apps, and with feedback from you guys, hopefully I can make it better. Again, apologies for the format. It's really, really tricky to try to get this thing to format this stuff. But as you'll see in just a second when we get down here, it's really crystal clear when you copy it over. So our extension activity, so my son is 7, he's in year 2. The extension activity would be tailored to somebody in this year who's working above standards. So somebody who's basically ready for year 3 stuff. Maybe they're flying along through a particular subject, or you want to try to encourage them, prepare them for the next year of learning. This activity challenges advanced students to apply their storytelling and design skills to create a unique Minecraft mod inspired by Spaghetti Bolognese biome mod. Imagine you're creating a new biome in Minecraft themed entirely around Spaghetti Bolognese. Okay, so there you go. That's essentially the gist of it. You could come up here, you could literally click this again and regenerate an entire plan without having to change a thing. You can click the refresh button, which will reset it. There'll be nothing listed in this. Or you could change this and incorporate really whatever you want. Now, the main point that you're probably going to want to use this for is once you've found something that you like here, you click the copy to clipboard button. It's instantly copied. So here's one I did earlier. So this would be blank. You have a blank Word document. Now all you have to do is press Control V or copy. And as you can see, and this is where the formatting really begins to take effect. Okay, so here are the results for a Year 2 student who enjoys martial arts, Minecraft, spaghetti bolognese, working in term 2. Ideally, this would be one step down. Subject area, English. And as you can see, it's all formatted nicely into little paragraphs for you. Mathematics, science, humanities, all listed with the extension activity at the bottom here. All right, so that's really the fundamental essence of the app that is currently available to you. Did I mention a little bit about support? I really did. I think I did. Yeah, I'm going to need help to support this. Most people at the moment who are using these tools to develop software, to develop apps, are using them to make thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars by, creating super addictive short content, hacking the algorithms, pushing all of this essentially really unhelpful and useless addictive stuff on people that people just really get hooked to, and it makes them a lot of money. It's crazy to me that at this point, this technology is not being used for something like education and healthcare and all the rest of it. This is obviously an ongoing conversation that many of us have probably already had at home hundreds and hundreds of times. But at the end of the day, if we want this technology to be useful or usable for things like education, at the moment we've got to fund it and we've got to do it ourselves. And so I really am going to need support and help to make this happen and I can release these apps for you, but I just won't be able to sustain them without support. So please do consider checking that out if you want to see this happen. All right, like I was saying, that's essentially the rundown. Please do come down here and click this if you want to offer any feedback. And I do highly encourage it because, I've done a lot of testing myself, but you're probably likely to discover things and see things that I have not seen or noticed, and I'll do my best to correct them. I've set this up to do my absolute best to really confine it to the proper Western Australia curriculum with regards to what the children should be focused on. These terms progress through introductory stuff, introducing your children to the concepts, then building on those same kind of ideas and concepts, and then really getting into the nitty gritty, the depth of it by term 3. And then term 4 is all about recap and making sure, or rather checking in on what your child has really absorbed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it really for the Homeschool Helper. If that's all you wanted to know, feel free to check out here. But I am going to be giving you a quick run through of 3 other apps that I'm currently working on. When I introduced this app to a homeschool educator, an old school homeschool educator, that's the one that explained to me it's very technical and probably really suited for homeschoolers, not so much for unschoolers. In that moment, I learned that unschooling and homeschooling are absolutely not the same thing. And I have been blessed to come into contact with the true meaning of unschooling. And I think it's absolutely amazing. And I am definitely going to be incorporating more of that into my own homeschooling stuff. I have essentially been operating more in this kind of model over the last couple of months. I've only been homeschooling for a couple of months, my son, but my daughter comes on board as of this week. She now wants to do term 2 after she's experienced it a little bit as well. So the next app I'm developing is called LearnLink. Link your child's everyday activities to key learning outcomes in the Western Australia curriculum. I'll give you a really quick rundown because these ones aren't quite ready yet. You're going to select a year for your child. This one does run up to year 12 currently, but we'll go with year 4. My daughter's in year 4. She is 9 years old, and recently she has been helping on the farm at her grandmother's house. she has most likely been playing Roblox, and she has also probably, no, I won't put probably, been playing outside in nature with her brother. They're spending the week at their mum's house / grandma's place. So this app was initially built to allow you to gain an insight into what kind of learning outcomes your child would have been engaging with from their natural activities. Then it evolved, as it is now, into a kind of before and after screenshot. So let's just say this is what my daughter has been up to lately. I will click generate outcomes, and probably within around about 5 or 6 seconds, this app should generate us a list of outcomes relevant to what it thinks are the appropriate learning outcomes. This is all in development, work in progress. So mathematics demonstrated an understanding of practical measurement by assisting with farm tasks such as weighing feed, measuring water, or counting livestock. Developed problem-solving skills by addressing challenges encountered during farm work, such as fixing a fence or rerouting irrigation. Okay, so obviously it's stretching a little bit at this point. This is still very early in development, probably only about 30% of the way there. The reason it's coming up with this sort of thing is because I introduced this before tab, which this is if you know that your child is going to be engaging in a certain activity, you can use this before tab to set yourself up as to what areas, these are learning intentions, what areas to focus on to help your child reach a certain outcome. So explore practical applications of measurement through activities like assisting with farm tasks or cooking. Discuss the concept of estimation and accuracy when measuring different quantities. It's quite technical. I'm definitely going to work on this. Evidence of learning, measure ingredients together while baking, and discuss how the animals related to the recipe. Did we do baking? I don't know. It's kind of stretched, maybe helping on the farm. All right. Yeah, so this definitely needs a little bit of work, but this is the intention behind LearnLink WA. You're going to be able to link your child's current daily activities with the Western Australia curricula learning outcomes, which needs a bit of work here, but it's definitely doable. It just needs some programming going on behind the scenes. All right, so that's a little demo as to what's coming up with LearnLink. MyWay WA is an interest-led lesson generator. This one is much closer to being done. Turn your child's curiosity into engaging lesson prompts. So my child, for example, I've done a little bit of testing here. My child likes flowers, they like playing soccer, and they like Harry Potter. Reading Harry Potter, and I'll tell you what, I'll put one more in, Harry Potter, if I can spell a single word correctly. They also like, I don't know, sweeping the floor. Let's just say that. I don't know what child likes doing that, but we can all dream, can't we? Select a learning area. So this time you get to choose which learning area you want to generate lessons for. Let's just go with science, and we'll go for a higher year this time. Most of my testing has been done in the lower year, obviously because it's more relevant to my own kids. I've done a bit of testing in the upper years. So anyway, let's just go with with year 9. And then we click our button here. This app also, by the way, I forgot to say, also has the copy all content, and it will copy all of them, even if they're not exposed. Okay, so obviously it's not going to copy one at a time. It'll copy all of them for you. All right, here are our generated lesson prompts. Here are some lesson prompts tailored to the child's interest and the Year 9 science curriculum. The Science of Soccer Ball Trajectory. Learning area, science, year level 9. I can get rid of that, but again, I'm still refining. Using your interest in playing soccer, investigate the physics behind the trajectory of a soccer ball. Research how different factors such as air resistance, spin, and initial velocity affect the path of the ball. Conduct experiments, either physically or using simulations, etc., etc. The botany of magical plants. Did I put plants in here? I did. I put flowers. All right. Inspired by the magical plants in Harry Potter. So it's combined two elements here. Research real-world plants with unique properties or adaptations. Choose 3 to 4 plants and create a detailed profile for each, including their scientific classification, habitat, unique, etc., and the chemistry of cleaning, because apparently our child likes sweeping the floor as well. So that's in there. If I decide, okay, I don't actually, all right, we did science on the same subjects. I want to do the arts tomorrow or in a couple of days. I could just change the learning area, click the button, and here we go. We have floral fantasy art. Create a visual artwork inspired by flowers. And here we have the art of soccer photography, and here we have Harry Potter's stage adaptation. It says it all. This one is much closer to release. I am planning on releasing these apps one every couple of weeks, spending 1 to 2 weeks on further refining the code. I really want these to be the best that I can make them. I've never coded before. I've spent the last week, about a week, making these apps. This is the first time I've ever made anything like an app, and I've had to learn coding, and I am learning coding, something called vibe coding, which is this new development where you're using AI to essentially assist you to make the apps, and you can watch it editing the code, and it teaches you how to code as you go. Anyway, so please do bear with me as I develop these. I'd like to release them one every couple of weeks, but a key component, I won't go over it again, is the support. If I'm not able to host these apps financially to give them to everyone, I just won't be able to. So anyway, I've already explained that. And the final app which I'm making is this is the one that's going to be closest to to going out on phones. This one is called Sacred Storytime. It started out as a bedtime story reader for your children, and I'm just going to fill in a couple of details here. It's optional to put in your child's name. In fact, I won't do that, but if you put your child's name in here, it will tailor the story specifically to your child. Here we go. Our child is interested in Bruce Lee. Martial arts is a key theme in my family. Let's also say we're interested in, I don't know, I'm on the spot here, so we'll stick with Minecraft. And let's also go with making jewelry, right? That's fine. So we're going to come down here and we're going to select an age, or this goes all the way up to 13. I figured once you're at 12, 13, maybe you're not reading bedtime kids to your children, but at the same time, they're not necessarily bedtime stories. But that's why I made it dark mode. You can pull this up on your phone as is. You would just have to visit the web link when it's available, the website. But I am going to turn this into an Android app as well for Android phones, and potentially eventually an iPhone. Okay, so we come down here and we just click generate story. This one makes a story that's designed to take about 15 minutes to read, 10 to 15 minutes to read if you're going to read slowly. It's also designed to essentially introduce a setting to your child, take them through a grand adventure full of challenges and maybe curiosities, but also it's supposed to create like problems and difficulties in the story, which your child has to evolve and be brave and strong in order to meet, to then come out the other side of it stronger, more powerful, more calm, more relaxed, more knowledgeable. It does have a little bit of a spiritual bent to it at the moment. I don't know whether I'll keep that, but we'll see. Once upon a time, settle in, ladies and gentlemen. Make yourself comfortable. We'll go on a little adventure here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. As you can see, it's quite long. Once upon a time, nestled in a valley where pixelated mountains kissed the clouds and the rivers flowed with shimmering lava. Don't worry, it was the safe kind. Lived a brave young boy named Alex. Alex wasn't just any boy. He was a master builder in Minecraft, a whiz at crafting delicate jewelry, and a huge fan of Bruce Lee. So it's gotten all of our interests in straight away. He spent his days creating magnificent castles out of cobblestone, stringing together beads of amethyst and jade, and practicing his Jeet Kune Do forms in his backyard, dreaming of becoming as strong and wise as his hero. Who was, we don't know. Alex loved living in the valley. He felt very safe and secure there, and he loved all of his friends. He spent many hours imagining the bright future that he had ahead of him. He knew that if he put his mind to it, he could achieve anything. Anyway, I won't go on and read the whole thing, but let's just say your child is only 1 year old and they are interested in eating things they shouldn't, like shoes and clothing, that sort of stuff. I don't know, they kind of chew all sorts, don't they, at that age? Basically anything they can put in their mouths, they'll chew at it. Anyway, so yep, your child is 1 year old without a name, and maybe you haven't figured out what they're going to be called yet. They eat things that they shouldn't. Once upon a time, in a cozy little town nestled beside a sparkling blue river, lived a curious little boy named Finn. Finn loved exploring more than anything, and he had a very, very big secret. Finn loved to eat things he probably shouldn't. Not yucky things, of course, but interesting things like crayons. The red ones tasted the best. And even shiny pebbles, smooth and cool on his tongue. Even once a fluffy dandelion clock, which made him sneeze for an hour. It's very clever. It's very imaginative. It still needs a little bit of work, and I want to make it very adaptable and very varied. This is actually the first iteration. I've just put it together. I've gotten so excited about this project, about making all this stuff, that I've made all of these apps, spent about a day on each one, and then moved on to the next idea that came to me while kind of going back and working on these things and refining them. But that process, although it may seem counterproductive, has actually taught me an awful lot about what's going on behind the scenes with these systems that make this stuff and how to communicate with it even better. So there are really good things ahead of us. And I suppose I just want to say maybe one more thing about why I'm doing this. I recently came across some groups on Facebook full of homeschoolers and unschoolers. And I see that I'm not the only one who struggles a little bit being a parent who's new to homeschooling, to understand what I'm supposed to be doing and how I'm supposed to be structuring it. Very early on in my homeschooling journey, I turned to AI for some assistance, and it took a little bit of refinement and inquiry along with that system. AI is not something you can go in and just tell it what you want and it gives you the perfect answer. In fact, it's quite flawed currently, and so it really does need to be you need to hold its hand and really help it understand what you need and how you need it. And if you can do that for a while with AI, it will really support your needs. You just have to kind of train it a little bit. Anyway, I saw in these groups that there were a lot of people kind of struggling, especially new parents or parents even wanting to begin doing it, but having absolutely no idea where to turn. Yes, there are loads and loads of resources online. And they're all fantastic. A lot of them are fantastic. Most of them are. But, you know, the AI movement, society is going more and more that way. It's crazy to me that this is not, that medicine, health, education, the home, our spirituality is not the forefront of AI. In fact, it's profit, as is everything else, unfortunately. And so, you know, I took it upon myself to make these programs, to learn how to do it. I want to give it to everyone for free. Unfortunately, I'm just not able to, or I don't know if I'm able to. This is kind of a test. Perhaps you can help me with it. This is what we should be doing with these systems. If they are capable of helping us with these most essential areas like educating our children, if we can learn how to integrate these systems into our daily life, turn them towards our spiritual focus, our home focus, and our environmental and social focuses on, you know, on the highest level, our peace of mind, our happiness, and our freedom, then surely that's what they should be for. Not for systems of control, not for weaponry, not for warfare, not simply driven by greed and profit. But anyway, that's enough politics for this video and hopefully most videos. I think I've said about everything I can say. Please feel free to reach out, talk to me, get on board if you want to test the tools out, give me feedback. We've got social links happening. There's no social media links here yet, but we do now have a platform on basically all of the main social media things. We have a YouTube channel, obviously, that's where this video is going out. But these platforms and websites, everything is a work in progress. Even a lot of this wording, I've gotten it to the point where I'm mostly happy with it, just to get to the point of launch. But it's all going to be refined. It's all going to be developed. So I don't really have anything else to say. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you can get some use out of these tools. I hope I can make something that's going to help you relax with regards to your homeschooling and just potentially your life in general. Gain a little bit more freedom, a little bit more confidence in your ability to do this, and a lot more support if you feel like you need it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye for now.